All right, continuing on with the carburetor work on Kimberly. I've got the new carburetor here. This is a self-priming Briggs & Stratton, and it comes with the little gasket, and I wanted to show you this. See, this thing is compressed and super flat. This is a new gasket for the manifold and for the air filter. So those are both going to go on. We put this rubber gasket on the manifold, that plastic manifold up here, which is right there. I'm going to slip this over the end because you want a good air seal where this carburetor is going to go on. I'm going to set my little carburetor gasket that's going to go between the air filter and the carburetor. I'm going to set that here. Now with these aftermarket carburetors, you got to be careful about slipping this on here and making sure it makes this turn, because sometimes it's so tight and so snug that you will break that plastic, and then you're screwed unless you've got one of these in your supplies. So what I normally do, and what I'm going to do this time, is I'm going to drill that out just a tiny little bit with a small bit. So let me do that and show you how to do it. Get the smallest bit that I can. All right, so this one passes through, so that won't help me. Let me set that over there. That one looks like it's too big. Set that down. This one might be just right. Let's see. That was pretty good. That one looks too small. Yeah, it's too small. All right, I'm going to go with this bit right here, and I'm going to make that hole slightly larger in that plastic. That way I won't break it when I make that turn. Hang on, let me get this bit in here. Okay, so here's the carburetor, and here's the drill. I'm going to go in right there and just increase the size of that just a little. Gotta hold it steady. My bit is wobbling. Hang on a second. Gotta get it where it's dead center. There we go. All right, we're gonna try again now. Get this where you guys can see it right there. Okay, you see that plastic that came out? So this carburetor is going to be fine. I know it's not going to break now. And it's going to slip on here real nicely. So it's going to go whoop and whoop. So it makes the corner, and it's still, as you can see, it's still going to work good. So let's get the screws that attach this. And these look like 3/8 screws, but they're not. They have a little base on them that's not threaded, and that helps hold this carburetor in place where it belongs. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this throttle spring here, governor spring, to the top of the carburetor. That kind of helps the carburetor stay in place. And let me get my 3/8. Where did it go? Right there. Let me get these started. Got that one going. And get this one going. now I can use, get these drill bits out of here. And get this guy back in my drive. Cinch these up a little. Jerk my wrist off so I'll put it on about 2, something like that. Let's get it started on there. All right, and now this one. Okay. All right, so that's on there good. Now, see how smooth that is because it's new, there's no dragging. And so I think that will solve our problem. Where did my air vane go? My air vane is right here. So this is going to go here. This little pin, or what they call the air vane, has to go in that groove on the carburetor. That's what works as the choke. That's where that connects. So let me slide that down, get it in place, and now I can start to tighten this. Okay. See how smooth that is? Bouncing around. Now the test is when I connect this. You've got to have this for these things to work right, people. You've got to have that little spring right there. If you've lost that, you're in trouble. And they're easy to lose because they just come flying off of there. So I'm going to try and grab this, and I'm going to connect it to that little hook on the air vane. And instead of trying to do that and have the spring go flying and lose it, let me set this in the holster. And maybe you can see me do this. So I've got it there. I've got this thing, and I'm slipping it right over that hook. Okay. Now let's test it. Oh, look at that. That is perfect. See, there's no binding. It just goes back to the original position. What that means is when it's cold and you start it, that thermostat's going to push the choke out of the way slowly, and that's going to run smooth and great. And you shut the motor off, put it up for the day, and as it cools off, this slowly goes back into the choke position so that when you come out the next day and you want to mow again, that choke plate is closed, and when you pull the cord, it sucks fuel into there because it's choked. So that's how it works. Then it gets hot and it moves out of the way, and the only thing controlling how much air and fuel mixture is that butterfly in there. So that's how these things work. Pretty ingenious. Don't ever lose that spring. All right, that's good for now. You've seen the setup. Got a nice new carburetor on there. There's no binding. It's just bouncing around like it's supposed to. Stay tuned. We're going to get this thing going. Ask me any questions. Subscribe. Thank you.